3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Stefan ADIKA. You're an artist on record, your ultimate intimate conversation with your favorite artist. And also make sure you hit that bell and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any other episodes. And make sure you check out our All Access VIP Backstage Pass. And the first of the month, we're doing a vinyl showdown where you could win vinyl records from us. You got to be in it to win it. Links will be in the description down below. Tonight in the hot seat, from the Small Faces, The Who, legendary Kenny Jones is in the house with us. And we're going to talk about how he met Steve Marriott to meeting Rod Stewart and much, much more. You're not going to want to miss this episode. And also Kenny's going to tell us about his new record label that he put out, and he's putting out from his personal archives of the Small Faces. And the links will be in the description. Click on that. But you know what? Enough chit chat, children. Let's meet Kenny. It's all going to happen right now. Don't touch that dial. The ultimate intimate conversation with your favorite artist. Legend, you're legendary. You're a legend. Okay, you, the Small Faces, the Who. Look at what you've done. We might even have some mutual friends.
It seems like a big blur.
Let's talk to Small Faces first of all. What a great band. That was and still is.
I'm the only one left now.
You're the only one left, huh? You do. So for the audience out there watching and tuning in, when you tell us when you started the Small Faces.
Well, it started almost immediately, but in a different way. Because when I started to teach myself how to play drums, I heard about a band that were playing locally, and I went to see them play, and I was only like 13 years old. Wow. I was sitting there in a pub, pretending I was old enough to drink, and I watched this guy, the band play, and one guy, the band, I was watching the drummer all the time, and they had a break in their show, and the drummer came up to me afterwards and said, "Are you taking the piss out of me?" And I said, "What?" He said, "You keep blinking at me." I said, "What do you mean I keep blinking at you?" He said, "You keep blinking." I said, "Oh, I know why. Because when you play, when you do a beat and a drum fill, you go and you blink at the same time." He said, "No, I don't." So I went, "Oh," so he got off on the wrong foot.
That is cool.
So that was that. So I kept going up and watching this guy week after week for about 3 weeks, and then one day I got to know him, and he said, he was a singing drummer, so he said, "We've got a special guest tonight. Got another drummer's going to get up and play." And I thought, "Oh, great!" I'm sitting there watching, thinking it's going to be, I'll get a chance to watch another drummer. And then he announced me. And I went, "Whoa!" So I've never played in a band before or with anyone. So I found myself sitting behind this drum kit, and it was a jazz band, right? So, and when I sat down behind the drummers, and these 3 other guys, the other band members, looked like giants to me. And they said, "Right, we're going to start a song. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 2, 2." But it sounded to me at the time, because I was in total shock, like 1, 2, 3, really slow motion. Then I started to play, and then I'd broken all ties with the earth. I was in my own world. I was having such a ball with it. It's great. So afterwards, the barman came up to me afterwards and said, "Kenny, that was great." He said, "Have you got a band?" I said, "No, I'm forming a band right now." And he said to me, "Well, my brother's just bought a guitar. He's had it for a couple of weeks now. He's learning how to play it. Should I bring him down next week?" I said, "Great." So the following week, I agreed to meet him. In walks through the pub doors, the barman. Behind him was his brother, and that was Ronnie Lane.
Wow.
So I met Ronnie. 2 of us got along like house on fire, and we just sort of blended and just said, "Okay, right, we get together and play. I played drums and he played guitar. We played like that for a few weeks. We formed a band called the Outcasts. But Ronnie was playing lead guitar, and he was like, because he's learning how to play lead guitar straight away, every time he was playing, going dee, 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 you know, sort of picking the strings and looking at them. Oh. And after a couple of weeks, he said, Kenny, I don't want to play lead guitar. He said, I want to play bass. So we went up to the shop where I bought my drum kit, and he bought his guitar before we'd even met. So we went up there one week, and this guy who was like a little Herbert, you know, like a cocky guy, he was working in the shop, and he said, "How can I help?" So I said, he wants to buy a bass, and I wants to play bass. And he said, "Oh, great, I can get you a bass. Come and have a look at these." So Ronnie and this guy walked off looking at basses, and out the corner of my eye, I saw a drum kit all set up. So I sat behind him, and I started to play it. So, and then suddenly the bass, Ronnie was trying his bass out, so he started joining in with me. And this other guy picked up a guitar, who's the salesman, and started to play it. So we were just causing havoc in the shop. And then really loud and making a noise, and we're going to that person was Steve Marriott, the salesman. He had a part-time job.
Wow.
So the three of us got to know each other, and we invited him because we had a gig in that with our band called The Outcasts that evening. So we invited him to come and play with us. So Steve joined us with our band, and there's a little pub, another pub over Tower Bridge Road, just by Tower Bridge. Then we said, right, we've got a special guest going to get up, Steve. He's going to get up and sing. And so he got up and started playing the piano. So they had an old upright piano. So he jumped on the piano and started standing on the piano, singing a great voice, you know, and just sort of going, you know, rock and roll songs and just bringing the house down. We were all playing. Then Steve jumped on the keys of the piano and unfortunately broke them. So the publican didn't like that, so he threw us out. And so we ended up, the rest of the band wouldn't talk to us, so we were out on the street sitting on my drums and sitting on his amplifier. And the three of us just looked at each other, burst out laughing, and that, I swear to God, I think was the formation of the Small Faces.
Wow.
Get to know each other.
I mean, Steve, man, what a voice when you heard his voice, huh?
I know, incredible.
Right? How old was he? He was a kid. How old was he, Steve, when you met him?
I was about 14 by then. Steve was about a year older than me, so he's only about 15.
Incredible, huh?
Yeah, and Ronnie was 2 years older than us.
He was. What a fantastic bass player too, Ronnie. I mean,
yeah, Ronnie was such a great bass player. He's very melodic, and I always say to him, people say to me, "Why is he such a great bass player?" I said, I put it down to when he first got a guitar and he was learning how to play lead guitar.
Yeah.
By the time he got to bass, he was more melodic with the bass. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, God, you listen to his bass playing and even stuff later on, even with his bass solos.
Very different.
Very different. And what a great rhythm section. It was that you guys together, it was so rock and roll. It's something that you can't even teach because it's so raw, but it's so great. And
I think, to be honest, we had this wonderful telepathy between the three of us. And especially when Mac joined the band, Ian McLagan, you know, and because that provided us with another dimension.
Yeah,
you know, Hammond organ and words. It was just, I was in heaven as a drummer. It's great.
You have all the ultimate pieces from there, like you really do.
Yeah, so that telepathy was split 4 ways between us all. We never told each other what to play, what to do. It just happened. We just locked into each other so well.
So with Steve Marriott, later on, for everybody watching, he ended up leaving the band. He ended up leaving and exiting, which came across you guys ended up meeting Rod Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, when Steve left, it was like losing an arm, you know, like losing a brother.
Did you think you'd find like who's going to replace these vocals? Like, how could I replace?
We decided by that time we were on Immediate Records.
Yeah,
and we'd got to know the Stones quite well. And the Stones had a warehouse in Bermondsey, just by Tower Bridge, funny enough, again. And they said, well, if you don't know what you're doing, we've got a soundproof room there where we store all our equipment and amps and stuff. Why don't you go and have a play there till you know what you're doing? So the three of us used to get together, me, Ronnie, and Mac, and every week and just have a play, just jamming away. And then one day, Ronnie Lane brought down his new next door neighbour, and that was Ronnie Wood.
Wow.
So Ronnie was playing bass with the Jeff Beck band at the time. And Ronnie's bass playing is still a great big fan of Ronnie's playing.
Oh my God, his bass, and that's him on Maggie May playing bass as well.
Yeah,
what a great bass line when you listen to that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like, for me, he's on a par with the Emerson, different styles, but I mean, he does that bass in Street Fighter Man, I think, and he's got a great little solo bass player in that.
It's so great. So then he comes in, right? So Ronnie was a bass player in the beginning.
Yeah, and then Ronnie's, like, when he came down with Ronnie, he said, I'm just learning, just switching from bass to guitar. So I just want to play that now. I don't want to play bass. So he was jamming with us. This went on for a couple of weeks. Yeah, then Ronnie brought down his best mate, which was Rod Stewart.
Okay.
Rod used to sit on the amps waiting, going like this with his watch. Come on, we're going out to the pub. So we had a break, we go out to the pub. This went on for a couple of weeks, and then I said to everybody, look, come on, we've got to get serious now. Let's not keep jamming forever. Let's just do the vocals. Ronnie Lane started to sing. Fantastic. Great voice. But still, you miss that powerful voice. Ronnie Wood started to sing, went, yeah, great, yeah, no. And still, that big, powerful voice was not there. And then Max started to sing, I went, yeah. And so, because don't forget, the drummer has the best seat in the house. He sees everything.
See everything.
So there am I, looking at and listening, and all of a sudden, I keep looking over at Rod, sitting on the amplifiers, sitting on the flight cases, and just looking at things. I know he can sing. I know what he sounds like. So we broke and went up the pub for another pint. So when we got to the pub, I said to Rod, can I have a word? I said, fancy a drink around the other side of the bar? Yeah, come on. So I went round the other side of the bar. I said, would you like to join the band? He said, would you think everyone would let me? I said, yeah, of course, yeah. He said, great. So that evening, Alvin Lee was having a party, like smoking drinks party in the Muse flat he had in London. So when we got there, we were having a sort of good time. Yeah, great. I'm a little spliff and I don't know, brandy and coke. And I said to everybody, can I have a word with everybody upstairs? Just want to talk about something. Yeah, so we went upstairs. And I said, right, I said, I've asked Rod to join the band. Oh, no, we don't want another prima donna. So someone that's going to leave us, let us down. I said, it's not like that. I said, Rod's one of us. He's like part of the band already. He's been, every time we rehearse, he's there. I said, they sort of said, well, we don't want anyone else running out. So I said, no, singers are like that. I said, so I kept going and anyway, I won. So I got him in the band, and that was it. And so
that was
we had that powerful voice. And I think because I knew it was the difference between success and failure.
Yeah,
got to be. Also, when Rod sang with us, the whole band came alive with just so laid back and fun, and that's why the faces are so party orientated, Having a party up the pub. Every time we was up the pub, have a play up the pub. It was like singing in a pub.
Just a party. Yeah. Party atmosphere. So that's when you dropped small faces and went to the faces. That was it.
What happened was we got to deal with Warner Brothers. I'm cutting a long story short now. We've got to deal with Warner Brothers, and as they said, right. So we went to sign the contract, and I noticed on the contract it said Small Faces. I said, hold on a minute, we're not the Small Faces. We're a completely different band. We've got to come up with a completely different name. And they said, well, I'm afraid you can't have all this money unless you call yourself the Small Faces because you already got a name. So, God, what we do now? So I tell you what, we'll call ourselves the first album, Small Faces, so we can sign this and get the money. I said, but thereafter, the second album, we're going to be called We Drop the Small and call ourselves the Faces. So that's how we got the name.
Oh, you did it.
So the Faces end up being the greatest name of all, I think. Dropping the Small, Faces of us, so it suits us down to the, like magic.
That was Kenney Jones, and if you want to catch some other great interviews, make sure you click on the box that'll pop up here right after this. But until then, it's only rock and roll, and we like it. Now get out of here, crazy kids. Who loves you, baby? We do. Bam.